Victor at LakelandCarKeys.com. I've been working on this 2016 GMC Sieera. It has a CAN bus communication error. Supposedly this vehicle was struck by lightning. So I got my Go Diag breakout box, and I can see that I have both CAN high and CAN low communication. Alright, so those are those blue lights flashing. So CAN high and CAN low together should equal out to about 5 volts. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. So when we look at our CAN low, so we're about 1.9 volts. It is fluctuating, but you know, when we go to CAN high, we're pretty much a steady 0.9 volts. So if you add 2 of those up, they don't equal up to the 5 volts that we need. So one of these CAN lines are down, and the only way to really determine what's bringing down the network is to monitor the 2 CAN lines and unplug modules one by one to see where you end up with 5 volts. Alright, so I unplugged the BCM to see how it reacted, and the 2 CAN lights started flashing more in a normal sequence, and I measured both CAN high and CAN low, and it was showing 1.4. So 1.4, or excuse me, maybe it was 1.9. I forget, but what it was, they were pretty much equal and not quite 5 volts. I'm not 100% sure, but then the communication completely went out, and well, obviously the body control module controls, you know, a lot of other stuff on the car. So, you know, everything's going to go down, but I'm not exactly sure that, you know, that was our issue. But without the BCM plugged in, we have ground on both CAN high and CAN low. So I'm going to try to plug this back in, and then I'll unplug the PCM and see if there's any difference in the CAN communication reading. Alright, so with the BCM plugged back in and the PCM unplugged, we are still not seeing the proper voltage or signal flash on our CAN high and CAN low lines, so I don't believe that module is the problem. I know they did replace the ABS module, so I'll go ahead and try unplugging that and see if communication comes back up. Alright, so I went under the vehicle and I unplugged the ABS module. So now the CAN high is no longer lit up. The CAN low is solid. CAN low we got 1.8, and CAN high we got 3.4. So we're getting somewhere. Let me plug that engine control module back in and see what we have as far as communication then. Alright, so I plugged the PCM back in. We got CAN high and CAN low lit up. Alright, so CAN low is showing about 2.4 volts, and CAN high is showing about 2.4 volts. So that looks like we have a good CAN communication network. So right now I just plugged in the original PCM back in there, and I believe this might be a new body control module. I think the original is plugged in there. So let me unplug this, plug back in the original, and see where we're at as far as CAN communication. Alright, so I plugged the original BCM in, and the CAN communication is back down. So what I'm going to go ahead is, I'm just going to go ahead and plug in the new PCM and try to do the programming SPS, and if that goes through, then I'll go ahead and program that replacement PCM that they got afterwards, and then we can start it up and see where it goes from there, and then they'll just have to figure out the ABS module. Alright, so let me go ahead and switch these back, and then we'll do some tests and see if we can get SPS to program it. Alright, so the new BCM's back in there, and we got our CAN communication back up, and as we can see, 2.4 in low, 2.4 and high. So hopefully now SPS can communicate. All right, so we're gonna go okay. Let's cancel this. Hope I didn't want to go all the way out. So I'm gonna go back into proceed with the same VIN. All right, and then we're gonna go into body control module and hit next. All right, so this is one thing it's asking about. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look into it. It's asking for a BCM keypad, and I would assume it's just looking for my keyboard. Let's see. All right. All right, so we might have to add our own RPO codes in. All right. So important notes: you need a wireless keypad to run this procedure. You will be prompted to identify the location of this file. This file can be obtained by the following options. All right, file provided by contacting tech line. Oh boy, so yeah, looks like we have to. All right, ignition is on. Next. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to call in and get the proper file to be able to flash this BCM, which is not fun. But until we get it flashed properly, we're not going to be able to do any other programming. What I might try to do is pull that BCM, the old BCM out. Well, actually, I can't even do that. I was going to try to clone it, but this is a brand new dealer BCM that has no information in it. So we're probably going to have to call and get that information. All right, so I had one of the wrong things selected, and I am now in the programming. I had to get on technical support because it was asking for a keypad for something, but I had the wrong box selected, or it was selected by default. All right, so ignition's on. We're gonna hit next. All right, and then I'll cut back in once it's done all this little stuff. All right, and in the meantime, while it's programming what it's doing, I just wanted to show you on our CAN bus network. CAN low is going, you probably can't see that, but it's going up to 2.4 and it's fluctuating. That's just conversation. So we got 2.4 and low and 2.4 and high again, and it fluctuates. See, it just jumped up to the 3s or somewhere. So basically it's averaging the high and the low out. So when you see the high jump real high, that means the low is going real low. But it's doing what it's supposed to do. So we'll give it a few minutes and then we'll cut back in when we're going to finish up the programming. All right, so from that screen that I was on, it actually wanted me to hit next, which it wasn't pretty clear. So as we can see right there, body control module programming and the body control odometer, they both passed. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. And now what we need to do, all right, I got a warranty card here, awesome. What we need to do is we need to go back into programming and go into immobilizer and do the keys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead down the bottom, hit proceed with same VIN, and find immobilizer learn. Next. And I mean, if need be, I can go ahead and just grab one of my key programmers and do the immobilizer programming, but I am going to go ahead and try to do this in SPS. Alright. Body control module emo learn with existing transponder and remote key. Body control emo learn with new transponder. Alright. So I am going to select existing. Alright, so it doesn't really give me an option to erase keys. Try to do all keys lost and add them back in, but I'm going to go ahead and try to do this and let's see what it does. So it says turn vehicle power off. Alright, so it wants me to turn it to the run position. Alright. And then we gotta do the 12-minute wait. Now, I'm a little iffy about this because I think we should have did an all keys lost and wipe this out and then added the keys back in. But I'm gonna go ahead and let it do what it's doing, program these keys, and then we'll go back and program the PCM. Alright, so I went through the 12-minute wait and it told me that all transponder keys have been deleted, and then it wants me to follow the steps to programming the new keys. So I'm going to hit next. Alright, it says turn the vehicle off and remove the key. Alright, it wants me to open and close the driver's door. Alright, so this might be a little bit tough because it might want me to have the door closed. And of course I got all my equipment here, so I'm going to go ahead and close it. Hit next. Alright, we're just going to let this count down. Alright, so it tells me to turn the vehicle to the run with the existing transponder key. So I'm going to go ahead and get it back in there. Alright, and it automatically started once I put the key in. Alright, so that first key learned. Do you want to learn more keys? I'm going to go ahead and hit yes because we have a minimum of 2 that we need. So it tells me, alright, shut it off. Open and close the door. Alright. And then press next, and then again it's going to go through this 45-second wait and then have me put the key in. Alright, so we're getting down to the last couple of seconds. Alright, so it wants me to put the key in, turn it to run, and then again it automatically started doing what it needed to do. And in hindsight, I should have programmed the engine computer first, just in case I have to redo this key programming. I jumped a little ahead of myself, but I just wanted to make sure that the key programming did respond with the BCM. Alright, so that key was successfully learned. Go ahead and hit next. We don't have any more keys. And then we just got to go ahead and close out immobilizer programming. Alright, tells me to turn it off, remove the key. Alright, and then press next. And we're going to have to wait 40 seconds and then do the process again. Alright, so we're getting the last couple of seconds, and again, this is just to close out the programming mode. Alright, so it tells us to put the key in and turn it to run. Alright, and then it closed out programming mode. It says the immobilizer procedure has been completed successfully. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And let's go into engine control module. Alright. Oh shoot. You know what? I didn't read it. I should have did engine control module and body control module. But you know what? Let me go ahead and close out of this. Alright, we can finish that. Alright. And down the bottom, we're going to proceed with the same VIN. All right, we're going to go into engine control module and hit next. All right. It's not letting me select or unselect none of those, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hit next. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hit next. And I didn't expect it to start up the engine, but apparently it did what it's supposed to do for the engine control module. Alright, so I'd have to go back and double verify, make sure it has the correct VIN in it, make sure it's the right file, but I believe it might have did everything. And we have to get it up to temperature to do the crank relearn. I'm not worried about the crank relearn, the shop can do that themselves. But one of the other issues they were having was the electronic power steering was out, and that is still out, so it's a possibility that that electronic power steering rack is fried. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this one up here for now. I was able to show you the BCM programming and the key reprogramming procedure with GM SPS. And they still got more diagnostics and more repairs that I have to do on this car. So if they do change that power steering rack in that ABS module, I'll probably be back to reprogram those with SPS again. Alright, thanks for watching. LakelandCarKeys.com. Alright, so I'm back in the vehicle. It has the original computer in it, and the key is turned on. We're hooked up, and I am in SPS. And I am going to select engine and transmission control modules, and then we're going to select programming, and then hit next down the bottom. Alright, and it's reading vehicle data. So hopefully this process with plugging in the original and letting it read, hopefully it transfers over the keys and I don't have to do the key programming again, but I should have done this before I did the key programming. So, alright, so here we are. It is getting us our newest operating system ID number. Alright, and let me see, history. Alright, so it just tells us some revision information. I'm going to hit next, and then let's see. Alright, and this is all the stuff it's going to program in the engine control module, and then it'll go on to the transmission and reprogram that. So go ahead and hit start programming. Alright, you are attempting to reprogram with the same calibration. Select OK to continue. Actually, you know what? I need to switch the computers. Alright, let me just see if it gives me a option to switch computers. Alright, and nope, it's just going ahead and it's trying to reprogram the original computer. And there's no abort. So I'll go ahead and let it run through this and then swap the computers and just reprogram it the same way. Alright, so now I have the used computer in there, engine on, and I'm connecting for it to go ahead and write the information to that new module. And like I said before, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to redo the key programming once it rewrites that module. but there's a good chance I probably will have to do. All right. And we want to override that. We do not want the old VIN number from the use module. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. All right, and now it's right into the ECU. Now this is going to write engine and transmission data because they're all in one on this particular unit. So this is probably going to take about 10 minutes once it's connected and fully writing. But go ahead and pause it, and I'll cut back in once it's done. All right, so this was a tough one. As you can see, that's the junkyard replacement ECU. We have it in there, and I was able to clone it with the DC706. SPS would not program it. I believe this might be like one of those global A things where, you know, it has to be virginized and all that. And, you know, I had a hard time connecting to it with a lot of programs, but now that this is a one-to-one clone, you know, copied over all the information, the vehicle starts up and runs. If need be, now I should be able to reprogram it with SPS, but we were testing out this engine control unit to see if it controlled the electronic power steering, which that's still out, so they're probably gonna have to change that rack. But you know, it is running. So today we were able to program a new BCM, program a new ECM, and then I'll let them go ahead. And we did the CAN bus diagnostics of that ABS module is still reading bad. So, you know, they can go ahead and do the repairs they need on the ABS module and, you know, figure out what they need to do with the steering rack. And if need be, I could come back and reprogram those two also. All right, thanks for watching. LakelandCarKeys.com.